Hey guys, Beck here. I'm taking you through a 45-minute athletic style reformer class. So you can really amp this up and make it more of a kind of reformer sculpt class, which this pretty much is, but I'm not using hand weights today. There are a couple of spring changes, but you'll notice that when I give the spring changes, I do it really, really quickly and try to keep the cues just very, very clear. And I explain to the class prior, we're doing a quick little circuit, knee stretches, push-ups, down stretch, knee stretches, push-ups, down stretch or long stretch, and we do that 3 times. So I will sort of explain that as we go through in sort of a quick, precise way. We're going to get started lying down. We're going to be on 2 red springs and a yellow spring, or 2 red springs and a blue spring, and the headrest, is down. So for this, because I am going to start with feet and straps, I'm going to suggest you go a little bit lighter for this one. And then as we go into the hip roll section, you're welcome to take the springs higher for more challenge. So I'm on just the 2 red for now. So sorry, it was 2 red or 2 red and a yellow, not 2 red, yellow or 2 red and a blue. And then I'm popping my feet into the big straps, 1 at a time, and then pressing my legs to straight. Tailbone is nice and heavy, legs are nice and long. I'm going to inhale and gently lift my legs to the sky. And then exhale, flex feet and press it down. So I'm starting with a hamstring stretch. And sometimes it's really nice to start class with feet in straps rather than having at the end as a really great way to just prep the body, the hamstrings to open up. So for this particular class, I want their hamstrings to be nice and open and nice and ready for that little knee stretch section without putting too much pressure and load on their legs, because the knee stretch section is quite a lot of leg load. So tailbone heavy, trying to maintain that natural curve through my lower back, ribs netting down. And inhale to lift, pointing the toes, really pressing the feet into the straps, flexing the feet and pressing down using those hamstrings to press down. I'm going to do 3 more, and then I'm going into parallel leg presses. Last 2. Last 1. Lowering it down just to 45 degrees. Flexing feet, bending knees, just a tabletop, and then exhale, press away. So as I inhale and bend, I'm trying to get my knees just over the hips, not too far away. Flexing the feet, keeping the tail heavy. Maybe point the toes as you extend the legs. So I'm going for anywhere between 8 and 12. I'm going to do 3 more. Last 2, keep knitting the ribs down, really try to maintain natural curve through the lower back on the bending. And then straightening the legs, turning it out, heels and toes out for a diamond shape with the legs, or frog, or Pilates V. So getting into those external rotators, inner thighs. And checking again as I bend my knees that they're only just going over my hip creases. I'm not collapsing knees into chest and losing the work. So there's actually no point of complete rest. It's all work. A little bit less range to keep it nice and stable. I'm going to do 3 more. Last 2. Now from here, I'm going to flex the feet and internally rotate. So big toes are together. Bending knees, gluing knees toward one another, pressing it out. So we're internally rotating right up from the hip joint, not just from the knee joint. Big toes glue together, knees come together as soon as possible, and then they stay together for as long as possible as they press out. So this will get into internal rotation, so it's going to get into that TFL. I'm going to feel this in the fronts of my legs, my kneecaps, so those quadricep muscles, those vasti muscles are really getting activated, being the sort of medial side of the leg quad muscle. And do 2 more. Now from here, I'm doing 2 big semicircles. So I'm going to keep the internal rotation, lift my legs up, and then start to externally rotate in those 2 big semicircles, heels together, toes apart at the bottom. 2 more big semicircles, so just 1 with each leg. Big toes together at the top, external at the bottom, internal at the top. I'm going to go for probably about 8, so I'm going to do another 4. Really trying to maintain that neutral pelvis and spine and keep that rib to hip connection. Last 2. And then my last 1, I'm going to end in this Pilates V position again. Inhale to open, flex feet, squeeze together, open and close. Pressing feet into the straps, only opening to that 45-degree angle, so I'm not going super wide and low. So I want to maintain pelvic stability. 3 to go. Inhale, open, exhale, squeeze. So just keep focusing on pelvic stability more than anything else in these exercises, keeping it really simple. Now from here, I'm opening my legs just to the width of my foot bar, flexing the feet and going for a big sumo second bend. Knees come just over the hip creases, press to straight. So asking your clients to really imagine that they're doing double leg press on the foot bar, but it's a lot less stable because they're pressing their feet into the straps and they have to maintain the height and stability with the legs. Straps going just inside the knees. I'm going to do 3 more. Last 2. Whoo, big burn. Pressing it out, squeeze legs together, and we're doing bow and arrow or stag to finish. So left knee bends, right leg extends out to the side, squeeze legs back to Pilates V, straight legs. Right knee bends, left leg opens out to the side, right heel to the center line of the body, squeeze together. So with the stag or bow and arrow, really trying to focus on keeping the hips right in the center of the machine so they're not swinging from side to side. Both legs move simultaneously, so I want my right knee to bend at the same time my left leg goes out to the side. They come back to center at the same time so that the straps are not getting loose. I'm going for 3 more here. Last 2, so that heel goes directly toward the center line. Last 1. And then I'm having a quick little stretch, so I might go soles the feet together, knees wide, letting the straps rest on my body. And just giving a couple of breaths, maybe into that happy baby shape, one leg straight, the other, safely taking 1 foot out at a time, parking the carriage, popping the straps onto the shoulder blocks. We're going to go into some hip rolls. So I'm going to shuffle just down a little bit. I'm on 2 red, but you can take it up a little bit higher for more support. You're going to inhale to prepare, flex feet, exhale, flatten into lower back, squeeze through the base of the glutes, rolling up through the spine, lengthening tailbone to backs of knees. So inhaling at the top and exhale, melting it down, 1 link at a time. Lengthen to neutral on the inhale breath. And again, exhale, flatten, scooping up, lengthening and coiling that tailbone up to the backs of the knees, rolling it down, upper back, mid back, lower back. Tail heavy on the breath in, back to neutral, softening the ribs. 5 to go. And you can always reach arms to sky here. Keep them reaching. 4 to go. Inhale. Exhale. Last 3. So always trying to encourage your clients to squeeze through the base of the glute before they roll up, so they really get that hamstring activation. But we want the glute to fire up first. So instead of just rolling up without activating the glute, I feel so much more hamstring if I don't fire the glute first. So I want to really think of the tuck, but also the sit bones hugging toward one another, then that roll up, and I'm in this nice high bridge position. I'm going to press the carriage out, bridge 2, glide it back in up to the bridge. Inhale, press it out, exhale, back up. So my hips lower naturally as my legs straighten, and then they pull back in, they press out, and then they pull back in. We're going for 3 more. Ribs to hips, arms can stay reaching for that challenge. Last 2. My last 1, taking it into hip lift, so carriage parks, drop the tailbone all the way down to the carriage or just off, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lower one, long line. So different from the hip roll, going into bridge one. Keeping those knees tracking over the second, third toe. Always thinking of firing the glute first. Activate the glutes, the hamstrings don't clench. We want the glutes to activate, then the hamstrings. Last two. Lifting and holding. I'm going to open my knees out to clam knees and then back to parallel. So I'm getting back into my external rotators, those deep glute muscles. Now if I want inner thigh connection or inner thigh work, I'm going to tap my knees together, open. So internal to external. Last two. I'm going to tap my knees together or parallel, lower it down for one, squeeze and lift, open and squeeze and tap. One of each. Going for three more. Soften those ribs. Feel the abdominals wrapping around the waist like a belt. If anyone gets lower back pain, I'm going to go lower and this should help. Just keeping the movement lower helps with any lower back pain. All right, last one. Bit of an inner thigh burn going on here. I'm going to draw my knees forward, lower hips an inch, fast pulses up for 8 to finish this. So they can keep it really small, really keep the base of the glute firing. Go for 3, 2, and then roll. Ooh, hold. We've got to hold it. 5, 4, 3. Inhale, exhale. All right, and then little knee sway, releasing any tension through the lower back. Giving a moment, and then rolling up safely. I'm going to keep the springs exactly the same, 2 red or 2 red and 1 yellow is going to be more for the shoulders, chest, biceps, and also the thighs. So this is our circuit. We have about 20 seconds or about 15 knee stretches. I'm going down to 1 red spring for push-ups, 5 push-ups, and then about 8 down stretch or long stretch. So taking the hands, pulling the bar apart with the hands, tuck the toes, lift, knees bend, my bum is back, my arms are diagonal. It's like I'm pushing a foot bar up a hill or a wheelbarrow up a hill. I'm inhaling out and exhale, pull and pull. So I'm trying to keep my bum, my hips in line with my shoulders, so it's not a plank shape. It should be all the work in the shoulders, pushing that foot bar up the hill, and all work in my thighs. Going for 5. Inhale out, pull. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Carriage comes in, knees go down, 1 red spring. Hands stay in that same position, knees are down, center of chest over the foot bar as I go for 5 push-ups. Inhale down, exhale up. 5 to 8. Quality over quantity, so they might be micro. I'm going for 2 more. Last one, arms straight and keep the body diagonal. Inhale out, down stretch, exhale in. Almost a bit of reprieve for the legs. Notice if anyone's getting in the habit of sticking their bottom out when they do this. So you can use the cue of imagining that you're holding a 1 meter ruler down the length of their body. Good glute activation to hook that tailbone down toward the backs of the knees like you would in a bridge and down toward the springs to keep the hips in neutral. Let's hold it out, going in an inch and then pulsing it out. 8. Good, soft bend in the elbows, chest forward. Last 4. Breathe. 3, back of head lifted to the sky, so spine is long. Last 1, carriage comes all the way in, 2 red springs or 2 red and a yellow. Back to the knee stretches, hands press, toes tuck, hips go back, hips in line with shoulders. Inhale, press, exhale, pull. So keep those arms on a diagonal line, pressing into the heels of the hands. See how I've got my thumbs forward? I'm not wrapping them back because that's going to internally rotate through my humerus and through my shoulders. And then go for another 5. Try to get those legs to fully straighten. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Carriage comes in, knees come down. Down stretch or long stretch. I always give the down stretch option first, so if they want to go back to down stretch, they can. Otherwise, shoulders over the wrist, toes tuck, legs straighten, long stretch. 1 red spring, inhale out, Exhale, pull. Ribs to hips, legs are strong. I'm not going to be here for a long time. I'm going to go for 3. I'm going for push-ups after this, last 2. Center of chest over the bar, they can pop their knees down, otherwise inhale down, full push-up, exhale. Good. If you have strong clients, you always want to give the option of doing some full push-ups, slight diagonal back with the elbows, last 2. Woo. Last 1. Carriage comes in, knees go down. 2 red only for this one, okay? Not 2 red and a yellow because we're doing knee stretch bicycle. So tuck toes, hips lift in line with the shoulders, arms are diagonal. Right knee into chest, left leg pushes the carriage back, right leg threads back, left knee bends, and then I switch. Well, I keep the same leg, so left leg is working, right leg is floating, left hip is hugging in, trying to keep my hips in the same line. I'm going for 4, 3, this one's getting tricky now, 2, as the shoulders get fatigued. Draw it in. From there, left knee in, straight into the other side. Right leg pushes the carriage back, left leg threads back, right knee bends. This is one of those ones where you might need to demonstrate or find someone in the room who really knows what they're doing and get them to show everyone as they move. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Woo. Carriage comes in, knees go down. 1 red spring. Down stretch or long stretch position. We're going to go for the 5 push-ups first. Inhale down, exhale push. If they want to skip the push-ups, straight into down stretch or long stretch. Last 2. All right. Inhale out. Exhale in. Going for 7. So by this point, they might need to go back to down stretch. It's a lot of shoulder work. Just notice if bottom sticks out. Core is strong. Remind them it's a core exercise. So we don't want them sticking their bottoms out. That's going to take it out of the core. Squeeze the glutes, hook tailbone, pelvis towards the springs. Last 2. Pressing and holding. In an inch and out an inch. 5. Last 4. Last 3. 2. And then shifting it in, I'm going to give a quick child's pose. I do feel for my clients now doing that myself. But we have to be willing to challenge them, okay? Because you've given them the option of knees down or knees lifted. So don't be scared of challenging people, all right? Because they can modify if they need to. Hands are shoulder width apart. Knees are going to go forward, toes tuck, and we're pressing it out to plank. So this is more a plank shape. I'm going to tiptoe my feet forward about halfway. It's a nice heavy spring, so it's nice and supportive. A little bit more shoulders over the wrists. I'm going to go into some pikes in 2. So I'm in knee tucks and exhale, pike it up. Shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, plank. Exhale, pike. Inhale, plank. So if the carriage bangs, tiptoe feet back. Arms go more diagonal as they press the carriage back in a pike. From pike to plank. Now bicycle, we're going to go right knee into chest, left knee bends, draws the carriage in. My left heel is high. A lot of my weight is actually in my left thigh rather than in my hands. Right knee squeezes in, right leg threads back. Same action, light spring. Left knee is bent. You probably can't tell with my flares on, but my left knee is bent as I draw the carriage in. My heel is high. I'm going to cross it over, thread it back. Cross it to the opposite tricep, thread it back, and then the last layer is a scissor leg to the left side of the foot bar. So it's an adductor squeeze. 3 more. This is just adding all the layers. You obviously don't have to. Last 2. Woo, last 1. Now I'm going to squeeze my right knee into the chest, step forward, and I'm sorry I'm facing away from you for this first set. We're going into standing side. I'm going to go standing side split on that red, and if they need to, they can wiggle their left foot out to make it easier, or wiggle it closer to make it harder. Arms can reach out. And it's nice to give them this big full range movement just to give them that reprieve in their legs bit of an active recovery, but not really because we're still working. Last two, and then we're going to alternate between a press and a squat. So I'm going for a press, I'm going halfway in, one squat, press, keep the carriage out, press, halfway in, going into a squat. So I'm pressing it out to my full capacity if my glute med's there. I'm coming in, my big toes are a little bit wider than the width of my frontal hip bones in my squat. Legs are parallel, little turn out if I need it. T arms, this is all work. I'm not letting my carriage hit my stopper at all. Last two, and then we're going to pulse. Chest is lifted. Of course, they can stop if they need to. And we come down, knees go wide over second, third toe, up an inch, down an inch. So I'm trying to zip through my lower belly, lengthen my tailbone to the floor. Breathe, relax the chest, and open the chest. All right, drawing the carriage in, I'm going to wiggle my foot in a little bit, give a little moment to inhale and stand, come back down for skater one. Left leg presses it out, pulls it in. Trying to lift up through the inner arch in a seam of the left leg, rotating away from the left leg. So I'm trying to keep my left hip back, so you can tell your clients to imagine you're holding their pelvis. Last two, and then we go skater two. So carriage comes in, right leg straightens, right leg bends. Right leg straightens, right leg bends. Rotating away. I'm going to give a little punch out with my right arm because this little rotation and reach is going to help with skater three. Last two, you're going for 8 to 12. Now skater three starts the same way as skater two. Right leg straightens, left leg straightens, right knee bends, carriage comes in. Right leg straightens, right knee bends, left leg straightens, carriage comes in. So everyone teaches this a slightly different way. This is how I like to teach it, by pressing out and straightening the right leg first, adding that rotation in the body. Skater two, skater one. Let's do two more. Last one. I'm going to draw the carriage in, hands back to the foot bar, feet back halfway, press it out. They can have a little fold here. Taking a big breath. Pressing into the hands, lifting the heels, rolling it out, starting with the knee tucks, but it's going to turn into the bicycle. So right leg threads back, left knee bends, right knee bends, left leg threads back. Remember, most of the weight in the knee tuck bicycle, which is different. My shoulders are more over my wrists. A lot of my weight is in my legs now. Squeeze it across, thread it back. So when they thread it back, check that their leg is in line with the hip. Their right hip isn't sticking to the side. Hips are nice and square. About 12 reps, slowly adding on scissor, thread, scissor. I'm going to do one more rep. Left knee bends, right leg extends, step. Slowly come in, standing side split. Left foot to the edge, feet are lined up. I'm going to take my right foot out a little bit. Lengthen tail to floor, zip the belly, press, resist the springs. So red spring is what we're on. Your clients can go red, yellow if they're feeling super strong in their legs. Resist the springs to come in. Nice big arm movement. Last three. Last two. And then we go squat press. Come halfway in, one squat, feet are a little bit closer, stand, one press, halfway in, little turn out in the feet if they need it, one press. Feeling this one today, guys. Really try to lengthen that tail down, zip and come all the way to neutral before the press. Last two, and then we're going to pulse. And there's not a lot of reprieve between the two leg sides, so just remember that it's nice to give them that little elephant stretch. after the first side before they have to go back in. Go for 2 more, chest lifted, zip. Now carriage comes in, give them a moment to inhale and stand so they get a little tiny break for those legs. Skater 1, knees bend, most of the weight is over the left leg, right leg out and in. So before you add the layer of the upper body, which is the rotation and the transverse plane, let them feel the legs. 3 or 4 reps, then you add rotation. So you want to try to do one thing at a time rather than this is the whole shebang, yeah? Layer it up. Last 2. Last 1. I'm going to go skater 2. I'm not letting them stand unless they absolutely have to. If they have to, they will. So skater 2, left leg straightens. I'm trying to keep my weight centered between my legs and I'm not letting my right leg fly away from me. Add rotation. So whatever feels good. It could be genie arms. It could be a running man arm. For today, I've been doing that reach across. Doing 2 more. Straight into, I need to stand, straight into skater 3. So it's better in a way if you just get them doing it because the movement will feel natural if they keep flowing it. Skater 2 turns into skater 1 with skater 3. So we go left leg straightening, left knee bending, right leg. Go for 3. Go for 2. We're going to get out of here after this. Sort of. Now draw it in. We're doing a Pilates burpee facing the back. So I'm going to spin to face the back. I'm still on a red. Left knee down. I'm going to cup, L-frame the shoulder blocks. I'm going to go carriage out so my knees are to the edge. Pilates V my feet. Press into the forearms. Lift bum high. Plank. Pull it in. Bum goes high. So because the spring is heavy, it's quite supportive. And I know it doesn't look like it, but it is an active recovery for those legs because my bum, my hamstrings and my glutes are getting a bit of a stretch when I come in, but I'm working my inner thighs by squeezing my heels together. Try to find the plank each time. 2. Now when you press it out, not many people will be able to go in and out. It's very strong. So I just get them to push and hold, not go in and out because the spring is a bit too heavy. 4, 3, 2, carriage in, knees down. Quick child's pose, a breath or 2, not too long. You're switching to a blue spring or a half a spring. Shoulder retractions. Keep it nice and simple, holding the short loops or the knots. Knees are right up against the shoulder blocks. Shoulders go back, squeeze arms back. Walk my hands up a little bit further. Shoulders back, very small movement behind. Tension on the straps the whole time. The further their arms go back, the more likely it is their shoulders are going to roll forward. Option, they will need to walk their hands up if they're going to go high kneel. So they can stay high kneel position, pressing into the shins, lengthening tail to floor, rolling inner thighs back. Or high to low, if they want a little bit more of that dynamic movement, and it's going to be a bit of thigh work as well. 3 more. Last 2. Holding it back, teeny tiny pulses in those shoulder retractions. So backs of shoulders is the focus, backs of the arms. Go for 4. They can do low kneel as well, obviously. Core strong so no one's falling forward. We're going into tricep press. So I'm going to let my arms go forward just a little bit. Elbows bend halfway, just 90 degrees. Hips hinge back. Core is nice and strong. Glutes are active. Chest is open. Tricep kick back. I'm going to walk my hands up a bit further. Now notice if anyone is doing this, C-curve, we want their bum, hips to go back, chest to go forward. So there's an S curve through the spine. Back of neck long. 4 more. If anyone's very strong, you can do alternating singles. So bending one, straightening the other. Let's do 2 more. And then we're going to hold Both arms back, little baby pulses, palms in, wrists straight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Roll shoulders out, arms are forward. So this is like a frontal raise, so palms down. Exhale, arms up, inhale down, ribs down. But instead of doing a full frontal raise, I'm doing an L shape. So I'm going to go left arm high, right arm L. Release it forward back to shoulder height or a little bit lower. Left. And this is where I get to open my chest, add a nice big rotation, bit of a lean back, and they can go high, which feels really nice. Arms forward into low, high kneel to low kneel. Encourage them to go slow because they will get floppy straps if they go too fast. Yeah, we don't want that momentum, although it is fun, not doing a huge amount. So slow it down. Resist the straps as they come forward. One more each side, and we're going to hold for 5 counts. So taking it to one side, relax the shoulders, hold. It's a bit too hard to pulse this one. I prefer a static hold over a pulse. Reach it forward, squeeze to the other side. 4, 3, relax the shoulders, 2, coming forward. So we're moving back into upper body, lower body, compound movement, same spring. I'm going to step to my left hand side, hold the big strap, left foot forward, right foot back, externally rotate the legs, come into a curtsy lunge, narrow row with the left arm. So I'm on a slight diagonal toward my machine, and if the carriage bangs, get them to walk back or hold the short loop. Rotate with right arm. 3 to go. Then I'm going to go full range 2. As in I'm going to go everything straightens. I'm adding my legs to this. Everything straightens, everything bends. If anyone has bad knees, 90-90 lunge, knees forward, or they can simply go double legs. External rotation, curtsy lunge can be quite unstable and uncomfortable for a lot of people's knees. It's important to give the option of parallel legs or a high back chest squat shape. We're going to hold it back and we're just going to pulse 8. I'm reaching my right arm forward to help me rotate. Really small, elbow in, palm to sky, working through the middle of the back, those rhomboids and mid traps. Last 2. Now everything straightens. I grab the other long loop. I pull the carriage out. I step my left foot to one side of the light spring, my right foot to the other, and I'm sitting back like I'm sitting in a chair. So walk it back so they don't fall over, shoulders over the wrists. One wide row. Let's just start with a wide row. So thumbs to the outsides of the ribs, and then you know what, if you want to cheat, sit on the foot bar. Otherwise, if they want to work, which we're trying to do in a 45-minute. And you can obviously stand, give a bit of reprieve, and then sit, or stay in the high back chair the whole time if you want to be really nasty. Going to hold it back, straighten the arms, a low sort of medium bicep curl, and then a row. So I can stand, I can go one bicep curl. You have to do quite a low spring because of the bicep curl. If anyone can't do the bicep curl, just the row. If they can't do a wide row, narrow row. Last 2. So because I'm on a shorter reformer, I'm not getting as much range with my arms, but I would try to get more of a bicep curl here. Good. Now I'm going to finish in my wide row, palms down, thumbs are framing my rib cage, little tiny pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now as I stand and step, I want to step to the other side of the machine. So keep the straps, step to the right hand side of the machine, pop down the left strap, ready to go. Curtsy lunge, turn the legs out, find the leg position, diagonal. Get into those legs, then narrow row. You can start with just the row, without the rotation, squeezing that shoulder blade down the back, elbow in. Add rotation. When you're ready, I use the opposite arm in pretty much the same motion. Row. Let's do 2 more and then we'll go straighten the legs. Last one. So as that arm straightens, I'm going to straighten my legs. I rotate toward the carriage. Row away. A lot of people get confused with this arm. Just remind them, all it's doing is helping them rotate the spine. Parallel legs if they need to, 90-90 lunge or squat shape. Go for 2. Hold it down, pulse it back. 8, almost there. Go 5, 4, really small, shoulder blade squeezing down the back. 2, release, keep the straps, sit down, springs the same. We finish with core, then a nice juicy warm up. I'm gonna hold my small loops, legs are straight or crossed through, 1 or 2 hand spans of space behind. Fingertips in line with sternum, elbows are lifted. If people have shoulder injuries, they can't hold, or shoulder issues, they're cooked even. Shoulders are cooked, not them actually cooked. Elbows in. This is how I like to do this one. Arms are an accessory. Inhale to get longer, exhale, C-curve back. So we're finishing with core on a nice light spring. Exhale. Zip up that lower belly. Inhale. Just notice if people come up just to here. You'll often see people stay in that C-curve shape, gripping through the hip flexors. Encourage them with a bit of tactile cueing to lengthen through the back of the body. Arms actually don't move. 3 more. Good. The heaviest spring is not going to make it harder, just in case anyone wants to be harder. If they want more challenging, put them on a yellow spring because it's core. I'm not actually using my arms. I'm just holding the straps. On this next one, hold and play with it yourself. I guarantee you the lighter it is, they'll be like, holy moly, I cannot hold this. On that yellow, go for 2. Inhale, sit it up. This is kind of like a Russian twist. We're squeezing to the right. Inhale all the way up to neutral, lengthen through the lower back. Exhale to the left. 8 to 12 on each side. Try to keep both sit bones heavy. By this point, some people might feel any discomfort in the legs. They can cross ankles. They can obviously bend their knees, go feet flat. So everyone has sort of different leg lengths, shapes, so just really working with what you've got and adjusting as much as needed. If anyone can't do C-curve, get them to do hands and straps lying down. Just take the springs up a little bit higher or keep it on blue to keep it purely core focused. Let's take it back. Hold, micro pulse it back. Try to keep this lower belly area completely still. Let's go for 4, 3, 2. Inhale, we lengthen, squeeze. They need that lengthening. They need to release those hip flexors. 3. Squeeze and lift through pelvic floor. Inhale up. I'm going to take it back into the C curve and I'm just going to roll, kind of like a Russian twist this one as well, from side to side. Trying to keep the carriage still. I'm going to go for 3. Last 2 each side. 1 more. Center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, roll it back. We're almost done. We're rotating to the right. We're going to open the arms to a V. Tap the fingers in. Open, tap. Open, tap. 5 more. So my carriage is not moving. It's core. Arms are an accessory. Relax the shoulders. They can always just hold the arms if it's too much. Last one. Straight to the other side. This is it. Open and close. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And if you have the time, you can get them to wiggle forward. Lift the straps and do supine abs here into teaser, yeah, which I've done in one of my other class plans, but you probably will not have the time. So we're on the blue and I'm just gonna spin around. Left foot, left knee goes back, right leg lizard. Chest is nice and open. Breathing. One more deep breath. So I'm going to draw the carriage in. I'm going to set up for my half split. I'm going to start to straighten my right leg, flex the toes. You might be able to push it against the front of your foot bar or slide it forward, and then just sort of as much of a split as is there for you. Trying to firm through the front of the right thigh will open up the hamstring. So the more that your clients engage the quadricep, this hamstring will open as they press it out. One more breath. Carriage comes in. I'm going to go through a little heart opener. Let this be quite free range. So I'm keeping my hips over my knees and they can sort of stay here. Knees can go in and out. Can be a bit of a rolling up sensation. Scoop, scoop, scoop. And then a roll back. This feels really nice. Or if they just want to hold or flop, that is totally fine. It's nice to give options so people can do whatever they need to do to finish their class. One more breath. Carriage comes in, lizard to the left, little turn out with the left foot, right foot against the closest shoulder rest, pressing it out, opening up through front of the right hip. Peeling open with the blade edge of the left foot. Drawing it in just a little bit so the right knee is right underneath the hip. Flex left toes. First, just go for the half split. So really engaging through the front of the left thigh. Depending on your reformer, you might be able to push your left foot against the closest shoulder rest, or you can glide the heel forward, more of a full split variation. Maybe holding the rails if they can't reach the foot bar. One more breath. Carriage coming all the way in. And then I'm stepping off to my left. Feet flat, breathing in. Reach the arms high. And then tuck chin, roll down. And just finding a forward fold. Shaking out the head. No and yes. Releasing arms to the floor, deep breath in. Long exhale. Bending knees, rolling up slow motion, stacking the vertebra. Rolling the shoulders back, interlacing fingers, stretching out through the chest, deep breath. And release. And you're all done. I hope you enjoyed that class plan. So majority of that was on 2 red springs and a yellow. And then we went back and forward. So when you're doing that, you just got to remember to make it really short and snappy. Give that very brief explanation at the beginning so people kind of get it. And then once you've done it a couple of times, they're like, oh yeah, cool. Great for a sculpt class or more of a high intensity cardio style class. And then ending with the blue spring. And then if you have the time, obviously add in the extra core segment of lying down, supine, ab curl, open and close, biceps, teasers, which I actually did in one of my other class plans with a long box. It's exactly the same, but it will be on the carriage. If you have any questions or comments or anything, please reach out and I will see you next time.